Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us as we begin week 11 of the 2022 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Weekly Football Press Conference. I am Karen Carty, Assistant Commissioner for Strategic Communications at the MEAC, and I will serve as your moderator for today's meeting. Before we jump into speaking to our coaches, we'll hear from Jeff Cunningham, the MEAC's Director of Strategic Communications, who'll provide us with some MEAC notes. Jeff?
Thank you and good morning. North Carolina Central vaulted back into first place in the MEAC standings, celebrating homecoming with a 51-20 win over Howard University this past Saturday to hand the Bison their first MEAC loss of the season. Quarterback Davius Richard needed just 13 completions to rack up 281 passing yards, and he accounted for 5 total touchdowns as the Eagles scored 50 points for the third time this season. Delaware State went down to Orangeburg, South Carolina, and used a late field goal in overtime from Nathan Wilson to put the Hornets over the Bulldogs 27-24. The defending MEAC champion has lost back-to-back MEAC games for the first time since 2017, and the Hornets won in Orangeburg for the first time since 2007. In non-conference action, Morgan State gave Stony Brook out of the Colonial Athletic Association all it could handle, as the Bears took a 22-21 lead with less than 2 minutes to go on a 57-yard touchdown pass from Deuce Taylor to Andre Crawley. But Stony Brook got the last laugh, kicking a 37-yard field goal as time expired to give the Seahawks a 24-22 win. And in Greensboro, North Carolina, Norfolk State fell 49-24 to North Carolina A&T State in a clash of former MEAC rivals. With just one weekend remaining in the regular season, Coppin State and Howard still sit atop the MEAC volleyball standings, separated by mere percentage points. The Bison have a pair of matches remaining against Norfolk State this week, while Coppin State will close out the regular season this Sunday against rival Morgan State. The 2022 MEAC Volleyball Championship will be held on the campus of Delaware State University in Dover, Delaware, on November 18th through 20th. With the championship match on Sunday, November 20th, broadcast live on ESPNU at 8:30 p.m. For more information, visit MEACsports.com. North Carolina A&T State won the Track Cat Clash Bowling Tournament hosted by Sam Houston State this past weekend, besting a field of 20 of the strongest programs in the country, including fellow MEAC programs Delaware State, which finished third, Maryland Eastern Shore, which finished sixth, Monmouth, and UAB. In other bowling action, Coppin State, Howard, and Norfolk State were slated to compete in the Virginia Union Invitational this past weekend, but results are not available as of this report. The MEAC will host its annual Women in Athletics Professional Development Workshop, empowered by Coca-Cola, on Monday and Tuesday, December 12th and 13th at the Atlanta Marquis Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia. The workshop's goal is to increase awareness of the opportunities available to women athletic administrators and assist them in their professional development, providing the necessary tools to assist young women interested in becoming athletic administrators. The keynote speaker for this workshop is Norfolk State University President, Dr. Javon Adams Gadsden. For more information and to register before the December 5th deadline, visit MEACsports.com. For more information on the MEAC and its 14 sponsored sports, as well as to learn how to join the MEAC Nation Association, visit our official website at www.meacsports.com. You can also follow the MEAC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at MEAC Sports, and subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube.
Thank you, Jeff. Before we begin with the question and answer portion of today's press conference, I'd like to remind everyone that to ask a question, use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and when acknowledged, please state your name and the media outlet you are representing. And just a heads up, we will provide a list of possible scenarios today for the championship, so be on the lookout for those at meacsports.com. All right, now let's get to our coaches, with our first coach being Howard head coach Larry Scott. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, Coach. All right, can you give us an opening statement about Saturday's game at North Carolina Central?
Man, what a great atmosphere. I thought, when you play college football, I'm telling our guys, they should get excited about going into atmospheres like that. I thought that was great. I mean, I'd rather travel and play in that atmosphere than to travel and it's 18 people in the stands, it's dreary, it's cold, it's what have you. So to walk into that environment and atmosphere, I thought was great. I thought they did a great job making it truly the nest and what homecoming should be, and all of those good things. So I think that was a great experience. As far as the game goes, they were ready to play. That coach did a great job with his staff did a great job with that team, and the quarterback played lights out football, and that's what you expect from a guy like that in a game like that, in a home and in an environment like that. So we, early in the game, I thought we missed some opportunities to at least swing some momentum early that could have, drove a different result or a different kind of path of how the game went. But it was kind of one of the strangest starts to a football game that I had ever been a part of. And for a little while there, we were able to weather some of that, with 3 minutes and change left in the, half. It was still just 15-7, beyond everything that could have gone wrong in the first half of football. And then when they were able to, score right before the half and then come out and score again, was where the swing in the game went. But kudos to them. They did a great job. They were a more physical team, more prepared team, and they played really, really well in that environment.
All right, Coach. And what can we expect from the Bison this week against South Carolina State?
Oh man, I think what an opportunity for us. We haven't played at home, so to have another opportunity, which will only be our second opportunity in week 11 to play at home, is something that is driving a little bit of energy amongst this football team. We have a lot of football to play for, a lot of things to play for. I think this thing breaks into co-champions possibly, and there's a lot of different things, right? We're kind of waiting on that announcement, Karen, this afternoon to see how this scenarios work out. But at the end of the day, we got to control the things that we control. And we have another great opportunity, only our second opportunity to play at home. We're still playing for a lot, and it's not just always championships. There's a thing called pride that you play football for beyond all of it first. So we're going right back at the hearts of these young men about, getting better, playing for the pride and passion that it is to be a Howard Bison, playing at home, what that means, and finishing this thing off the right way. And if we do, there's still some good things that can come our way. But we got to take care of business one game at a time. So we're excited to be playing at home.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you for that. Those are my questions. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Nate Henry Jr.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
Nate, what's going on? You looking sharp there.
Yeah, I got to go speak to a group of kids over at the high school. My first question is, talk about the keys to the game being, as you indicated in last week's conference call, being able to control the clock, keeping the offense on the sideline, continue to convert on third downs on offense and prevent them from converting when they had the ball. Talk about the big plays in the game and how they negated that.
I'll tell you what, man, that's how sometimes you can take statistics, right, and go, man, okay, how does that happen, right? We still, you're 5 of 11 on third down, 45%. In most games, that's a pretty decent day, third down, right? You want to be about 43 to 45% if you can. We were able to accomplish that, yet you still see the result of what happened. It was the lowest play output we've had all year. I think we only had 54 snaps. We were usually hanging around 70 to 74 snaps a game. So it's kind of weirdly worked out. That's why I said it's a very odd game because statistically, 5 of 11, 45%. Time of possession, we still had the time of possession one on our side of it. The difference was just how explosive they were on offense that day, and created a lot of explosive opportunities, through the quarterback in the passing game and him using his legs and different things like that. And when your quarterback's playing good football like that for you, it usually generates some pretty good numbers and a pretty good day for you. So again, we accomplished kind of the time of possession and trying to stand on the field on third down. We missed a couple opportunities early, like I said, that could have swung it. I mean, we had first play of the game. We have our receiver on an RPO wide open. We missed the throw. That could have resulted in 7 points. We throw the tailback down to shoot. We underthrow it. He has to come back for the ball. We throw it on time. It could be, that's 14 points right there. It could be a different ball game. However, we didn't execute. Didn't happen. They did. We didn't. Therefore, the results are what they are. We gotta put that behind us and move on.
Great. You have often talked about the process. Can you put in some perspective this season with this past game and all of the road games and how it helps the process moving forward?
Absolutely. I mean, when you become the guy that, or the team that sits at the top of the standings, you become the hunted. And at the end of the day, if you don't understand that standard of what that means, to make sure that people are gunning for you. Every time you go play, they want the best. They want to beat the best right now where it stood. And so being able to understand what that is, to prepare the right way, to be able to handle the environment and go into those situations and play your very best football is also a process-oriented thing that we got to still keep driving into this young football team. I mean, you look at our team and you're looking at a microcosm of what next year's team will look like, minus maybe 2 or 3 guys, both offensively and defensively. So there's still so much that we're learning through this process. And at the end of the day, North Carolina Central did a great job of doing what they needed to do in that situation and playing the very best football. And the bottom line is we didn't. We didn't execute, they did.
Yes, sir. Reflect on this class of 14 seniors who will be playing their last home game in a Bison uniform and what their contributions have meant to the program as a whole and to you personally.
No, man, those guys have been through an awful lot. I mean, not just COVID, but, their third head coach, some of them their third or fourth position coach, COVID and not missing a year and a half of training. Those guys have been through an awful lot in their 4 years here at Howard, and for them to stick it out and still be here with us through all the transition, and have kind of bought in. A lot of them are guys that are not seeing a significant amount of playing time, but are fulfilling different roles for us on the team right now, and for them to have embraced all of those roles and embrace what we're doing right now in the program and still want to be a part of it. Man, you can't help but put your arms around those kids and love them and really appreciate them on this senior day that's
right.
coming. And they get everything that they deserve because they've been through an awful lot.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. It's James Hill with the Countdown to Kickoff. Great to see you and the Bison at the game on Saturday. Can you start out just giving us your thoughts on Mr. Wheeler and the play where he was able to run one back to the house, if you will?
Oh, man, he had an opportunity to return too, and it was him and the kicker, and he decided to cut it back when if he just trusts himself and trusts his speed, he probably would have had another one. Ian's always a threat in the return game to do that. He's a heck of a special teams player. I mean, he's also running down as one of our missiles and gunners on punt and making tackles and different things like that. So he's a 5'11", 205-pound kid that strong, got good balance, good vision, runs really well. So every time the ball's in the air and kicked back there to him, our guys up front believe in him, and they know that he can have a game breaker or change the game at any time. So he always gives us a chance as a threat back there for us, and we're lucky to have that young man in our program, and we're lucky to have him moving on to in the future as well.
Coach, Mr. Williams and also Mr. Hawthorne, they provide a spark every week, if you will, for the Bison. Just talk a little bit about those two gentlemen.
Oh, man, again, the versatility that you can do with that. And when Q's our quarterback, seeing the game and we can make him, get him comfortable and that kind of deal, he has, he's capable of putting up some numbers and moving the offense efficiently the way that he should. And then, Casey's versatility, you always want to be able to find opportunities and create opportunities for him to get his hand on the skin, on the ball, to be able to impact the game. Whether that's you putting him in the backfield and lining him up at quarterback direct, snapping it to him, or pitching it to him, or handing it to him, or throwing it to him in the receiving game. He's always a guy that can, provide a spark and be a threat for you at any point in time.
Coach, the making of a champion, the building of a champion. It's been said in cliche, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. You'll look across that field on Saturday. It's Buddy Pugh. It's the defending MEAC champions and HBCU Celebration Bowl national champions, and the Bison are in the house. Just talk a little bit about Saturday. And again, you're talking about another beautiful day in MEAC play.
Man, and that's the thing I think, James, that maybe goes missing from the narrative a little bit, is how competitive MEAC play truly is. And once you get into it, it is truly a playoff mindset. And on any given Saturday, you can get beat. There's great coaches in this league that do a great job of scheming and game planning and those type of things. And then, there's good players on all of these teams, both defensively and offensively. So you look at, how we had to, finish the season. You go Central, you go South Carolina State, and then you got, you know, Morgan State, who's done nothing but get better and better each and every week, that are well coached, and you can really, every week you can see them really coming along and getting better and better and better, and doing some really good things. It don't get any easy every week. So you better have an in-house mindset of finding a way to create challenges for your team to continue to get better, for them to understand that it's still about you and what you're doing to control, you know, your progress as a program and as a football team and as an individual. But you stare across the field Saturday and you go, man, what another really good football team that's coming in here that are very prideful themselves. They got great pride in that program, and they're not just going to come in here and roll over because they've, you know, if things have not gone as great as they wanted it to go. We're going to get South Carolina State's best shot. We know that. And they have enough really good players. They have really good coaches to do that. And we got to make sure we control the things that we control and put ourselves in a very such situation to go win a ball game. We're playing at home, and we better defend our home turf, you know, that way, and represent who we are too as well. So, but it'll be another stiff and another big challenge for us this weekend.
Coach, the political process, you're in our nation's capital. We look at Super Tuesday. It's hours away, if you will. Just talk about the mentality when you can look across the city, if you will, and see Capitol Hill and be a part of the political process in terms of voting. Are players voting? Have you guys early voted? Just talk a little bit about the political process of citizenship.
No, absolutely, which is a part of winning, which is a part of winning in life, you know, especially in the environment in which we live, in the environment in which, you know, this country and the state in which this country sits today. It's something that's really, really important. We visited a little bit about it yesterday in our team meeting. It just wasn't about what had just happened at North Carolina Central and what we needed to do to clean that up. It was a layout of the schedule, and why we're changing the schedule this week and doing things a little bit different, and the importance and criticalness of what Tuesday really means as we vote, especially on this level of the secondary election, and, you know, some of the things that are not on the hierarchy and the high, you know, most visible platforms of the importance of voting and those type of things is to get into the secondary level of it, and the importance of how impactful these votes and these decisions that impact the bigger decisions are made. So we visited a little bit with the team in a team meeting setting about that and the importance of what Tuesday is. We talk about winning each day in our program towards the process of winning football games. Well, that's how we win in life, and that's how we win in football too, is also understanding the importance of what Tuesday is, making sure the guys that are registered to vote, which we made sure in the summer previous that all of our guys were 100% registered to vote as a football team. So we, you know, talk about the importance of exercising that right on Super Tuesday.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Ville with Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are we doing, Doc?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
Good.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the running game. Over the last couple of weeks, you were able to run pretty solidly. But in this game, you only rushed for 99 yards. Do you believe that was more about the framework of the game of North Carolina Central being able to get ahead of you on the scoreboard pretty quickly, which created the avenue to need to pass a little more? Or was that just the alignment of how you went into the game?
No, it was definitely how the game started and how it dictated. I mean, everything is dictated right on how the game is flowing and going. And with their explosive playmaking ability on offense, you couldn't just sit back and then they got out into a two. When the game got out to a 2 or 3 point score differential, you just can't sit back and kind of play, you know, ball control and ground and pound and, you know, take the shots and different things that you got to be a little bit more aggressive in your approach, because now it's not North Carolina Central as your enemy, it's the clock. It's the fact that you're gonna run out of time here doing it and playing it that way. And I'm sure Coach All will stand on the end going, okay, they can do that if they want to. That clock's just continuing to tick. And we're ahead 2 or 3 scores. So, you know, he's got both gloves on going, okay, Coach, you're in a heck of a predicament here. And when we were. And so it caused us to have to play a little bit different fashion of football, you know, which we weren't able to really get into our balance attack, which takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback when we're able to run the football and, you know, take our play action shots and different things like that. It was limited, and it was limited due to the, you know, just how the game kind of unfolded and kind of played out. Like I said, you go back and watch that start, I don't imagine we've seen a start to a football game quite like that in a long time. We missed our shot, they hit theirs, we get a safety, the ball bounces, it goes out of bounds the first time. It was kind of a weird type of deal, but yeah, I think that just the flow of the game kind of dictated what kind of had to happen later on down the stretch.
Moving on to South Carolina State, obviously tough defensively, but we viewed over the last couple of weeks that you would maybe think that you have South Carolina State where you want them, and then all of a sudden you have this guy named Shaq Davis, and he makes some big time plays to get them right game. You know, are there some things you can talk about of how you try to defense him, and if you would share at least the framework of what that looks like?
I'll tell you, you better know where he is, and you better make sure he's accounted for on all downs, first down, second down, third down, because this guy has big time playmaking ability, you know, and he one play can change the game real quick with that guy. So you better kind of know where he is and know what you're doing as far as how you're defending, making sure you're defending him. But then they got other players too. I mean, the running back is more than capable of hurting you. They're physical up front. And then they have other supporting cast too. When they get their their hands on the ball, can make a difference too. It's a really athletic team, a really athletic football team, really good on defense, like you said, but offensively they still got other weapons that they can utilize to hurt you as well. So you better be sound in your approach, what you're doing. You better be have great gap integrity. You better tackle, and again, you better make sure where you know what Shaq is and of course the game. And they're going to take their shots at him. You know that. And I mean, you know that they're going to do that and try to find ways to get him the ball because he is a game changer. So just knowing where he is and making sure that you got him accounted for, but then making sure you're doing all the other things too within the game plan. And you better do it. They can hurt you.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. I look forward to the matchup.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Love that shirt, Dr. Goodell.
I appreciate you.
No problem. Daryl Duvall.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to kind of talk about real quick. Y'all had a couple of mistakes, and I guess now this is Daryl Duvall from Powering You in Texas. But I just wanted to kind of go over, some of y'all mistakes y'all had with North Carolina Central, and kind of what you learned from it, and taking it to South Carolina State, which has lost 2 conference games in a row, and your thoughts of what you're going to take to that game right there.
Well, first off, we better take the right mindset and mentality into it. This is a South Carolina State team that's going to be hungry and wanting to win, no matter how they get it. And if you know Buddy Pugh, and I'm sure everybody on here knows Buddy Pugh. If you don't, he's coming on here in a little while. You'll get to know Buddy Pugh. He's going to have that football team thirsting at the bit. They're going to be ready to go. So we better realize that too as we get ready to prepare for this game. I think what you learn is the margin of error is so very small when you're playing in these type of football games, right? And we had our opportunities. Like I said, the first play of the game, we missed a wide open receiver that's behind the whole defense. And an RPO, it's pitch and catch. We catch that football, it's 7-0 us in comparison to having to punt the ball and then give them a chance on their first play to go score on an RPO. So, again, the tides change. Second series of the game, we got the tailback running down the chute against the Mike linebacker one-on-one. Well, it ended up being, wherever we ran by him, he's behind him. We underthrow the ball, we throw it out there. There's 2 more opportunities. You can't miss opportunities like that in games like that and think you're going to give yourself a chance to win. We can't slip and fall or man coverage on a double move and slip and fall and think you're going to give yourself a chance to win in those games. So the mistakes that were made were things that we control and plays that we got to make. So we definitely addressed those. 7 plays in that game was all the difference in the game. And it was mostly the conversion from the end of the first half into the beginning of the second half where the thing just kind of spiraled on us. So fix the things that we control, address those things, understand that the margin of error is very small. You have to capitalize on every opportunity that you're given if you want to truly be a winner and a champion. So just carrying that mindset that, hey, it's one and done, and you got to make sure our execution is at a high level and we can't miss those opportunities.
Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck this coming weekend. Good luck at this game. And also, hey, like you said, the last conversation you were talking about the elections, just getting those kids to vote. That's basically what our goal is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach Scott, thank you so much for your time today. Good luck this week, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you very much.
Karen, I was going to make sure the coach understood that I like the fact that he shared with brother Nathaniel Henry Jr. that he's looking sharp today, which he is. But he didn't say anything about my shorts. Sure, I'm about to get on Coach Scott.
You know what? My bad, buddy. You do look good in that shirt. I'm just used to seeing you in the jacket, the shirt top. Relaxed, Doc, I like that, Doc. Kind of relax and chill it out a little bit.
Appreciate you, Coach. Take care.
All right, y'all. The Bison return to Green Stadium on Saturday when they host South Carolina State in a 1 p.m. matchup. The game can be seen live on ESPN3, and it will re-air Saturday night at 11 p.m. on ESPNU. Up next, we have North Carolina Central head coach Trey Oliver. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm well, Karen. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. All right, Coach, give us an opening statement about Saturday's game against Howard, please.
Yeah, well, obviously we did have homecoming this weekend, and it was a great day for football. The weather was outstanding. The campus was packed. I'd never seen that many people on our campus before in my life. The guys came out. We had an opportunity to play Howard, the #1 team in the conference coming in. And I was concerned it's homecoming. We talked about distractions and everything else, but I thought our guys were locked in and focused. We talked about starting fast, and I thought that we did that. And we stayed within the moment. We didn't get too emotional and everything like that. So I thought we played well. Still some things we still need to clean up, but it was good to come away with the win and play well at home.
Awesome, Coach. And what can we expect from the Eagles this Saturday against Norfolk State?
Well, we got to block out all the distractions, and it's about going 1-0 and trying to win this week, win the day. I know Coach Odoms and those guys. I've worked with them. They have a really good staff there, so I know they're going to be ready. And we don't worry about records and everything like that. We've got to come in there and play our best football, and hopefully, like we've talked about all year, we can improve every week. So that's what we're looking to do: play a little bit better this upcoming week than we did this last weekend.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you. Those are my questions. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Dr. Cavell.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Doc. Listen, man, I always like the suits and everything like that, but that's your best shirt yet, man. That really is.
I appreciate that acknowledgement. I'll make sure I keep that in mind moving forward. With that saying, you really played a clean sheet in terms of the game. And when I say that, I mean no turnovers. And that is usually a significant part of the game. So if you would talk about that, as well as your quarterback play, that both got it done in the air and on the ground in terms of passing for touchdowns, rushing for touchdowns, as well as your wide receiver, Hicks, in terms of putting up 108 yards on just 4 catches with a big touchdown that really opened up the game.
Right, and I think that was the biggest difference between this week and the last 2 weeks. We talk about first and foremost, we have to take care of the football, first and foremost. And, every position must end with a kick, whether it's a field goal, PAT, or punt. It's okay to punt the football. So I thought that Pee Wee's Davis' decision-making was very good this week. And, when you take care of the football, you give yourself a chance. And I talked about how explosive we are at the skill positions. And we have some really good football players. So, we don't have just one guy that we're trying to lean to and look towards. It could be, EJ Hicks or Devin Smith or whoever else it is. So it all starts taking care of football. You say clean sheet. I wasn't pleased with a whole lot that went on Saturday. We gave a kickoff return for a touchdown, which is unacceptable. And we had too many penalties. So it's quite a bit of things that we can improve on.
Well, you talk about improving on those things going into this next game against Norfolk State. That obviously, as you said, records is not an indication of how they're going to play through the game. Talk about what your defensive efforts in the last game and what you will need them in this game, but particularly how they answer the call in terms of a great homecoming atmosphere and making sure they were ready to represent on that side of the ball, moving in on the road to Norfolk State.
Right.
And conference play.
Yes. And we talked about, although it's late in the season, you can still improve. And I thought that, you could see that Saturday with our run fits. I thought were much better. I thought we did a much better job with our tackling, and we were taking better angles to the football. And, a lot of folks don't pay attention to those things, but for you to have a successful defense, those are some things that you have to do. Now, Coach Scott said earlier that they had some folks open, and they did get behind us 1 or 2 times, and I thought that was lack of communication on the back end. But overall, defensively, I thought we played a solid game. They had a really good running game, a great running game, and I thought we would be able to slow that down a little bit with our run fits, and like I said, we're taking good angles to the football.
Nice. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And appreciate the acknowledgement of the shirt.
James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. How's it going, sir?
I'm well, James.
Awesome. On third down, you guys went 9 of 15 third down conversions. Can you just talk a little bit about the success and moving the chains, so to speak?
Yes, and I think that, you win first down, you have a chance on third down. And I thought we were successful. This is one of our better weeks as far as converting on first down. And we're talking about +4 yards. And if you can stay ahead of the chains and on schedule, so you're not getting a whole lot of 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 12s. When you have some 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 4s, it's much easier to convert. So I thought that, offensively, when you're able to run the football and get those yards on first down, that takes a lot of pressure off you and the play calling on third down.
Coach, Mr. Richard, he had it going on Saturday. Pee Wee, as you call him, on ground and in the air. Just talk about his performance, and it's a memorable experience for the Eagles Nation.
Yeah, and I thought that he put on the show, man. Pee Wee is so talented, and I mean he can throw the ball. A very smart young man, not a selfish player at all. He's gonna go to the right spots with the ball and try to get out on time. And just a great teammate, great person. If you ever get a chance to meet him and interview him, great guy. But he has all the ability, all skills to do it all. Obviously beat you with his arm, beat you with his legs, take what you give him, and keep his teammates involved. So obviously it's a blessing to have him, and he's a joy to watch play. I'm glad we don't have to play against him.
Coach, now you shift gears. It's the last game of the MEAC season, regular season. Talk a little bit about going in and playing the Spartans. And when you look over there, what do you see from that ball club?
A talented football team. They're young. They do have, and I know they have some growing pains over there, but they have plenty of talent. They kind of look like us last year. So we're gonna have to, come and play. And again, it's about us. We don't worry about the other teams, and we just have to come in there and handle our business. But again, we had to stop the run and play with great eye discipline. We can't give up cheap scores and give them guys momentum. So one play at a time. Obviously stay within the moment, and I think our guys are locked in. We've been pretty focused, and I don't think we're gonna overlook anybody. So they're gonna get our undivided attention.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thanks, James. It was good seeing you this weekend, man. Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
The Yard, HBCU Sports.
Good morning, Coach. Dwayne Nash from the Yard HBCU Sports. How are you this morning?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you said it was either last week or the week before that you were looking to improve on your scoring output, potentially this week, or if not Saturday, later on this season. How are you capable of doing so against one of the better defenses in the conference? And what do you think you need to do in order to continue at that throughout the rest of the season?
Well, we play really well at home, and I think we're averaging over 50 points a game at home. We love being in the nest, and our crowd gets behind the team. And I think this is probably one of the hardest, toughest places to play in Black college football. But we talk every week about executing, and we don't have to press and do too much. Just take what defenses give us. When you have an opportunity to run the football, and I think that we've been able to run the ball pretty good this year, it opens up stuff on the perimeter. And when you put that extra guy in the box, now it gives our receivers a chance to make explosive plays. And I think that was the biggest difference. We made some explosive plays, and we had EJ Hicks, I think, have 4 catches for over 100 yards. So when you have an opportunity to make plays, you must make the play.
And one quick follow-up question. This is the first time that your program, or the program under you, will be facing this type of pressure of having the championship potentially on the line this upcoming weekend. What do you say to your players to make sure that that pressure is kind of relieved and or that type of attention is relieved from them as they come into the game against Norfolk State on Saturday?
Do what we do. Nothing's changing. If we didn't do it last week or the last 4 weeks, don't do it. If you didn't wear it, don't wear it. Whether it's sweatbands and wristbands and tape and all this other mess. Do what we've done. And the big thing is Eagles can't beat Eagles. We have to play our brand of football, and it's a standard that we're trying to live up to around here. So we're not going to put any added pressure on ourselves. It's just another football game, and we're not going to put any added pressure on ourselves. We're just going out there and play the football game like we've been playing.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Shakira Martin.
Hey, Coach, Shakira Martin with the MEAC Countdown. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. You kind of just touched on it, but I want to dig in a little deeper. Outside of the X's and O's, you guys have continued to be successful, continue to get better and produce success throughout your season. Now that you guys are at the end, I'm just curious on what is your speech in the locker room this weekend to where you guys can kind of like stay humble, but also go out there and be hungry. What's your approach as the coach running this program right now?
Well, I do something a little bit different. I got it from one of Coach Broadway, my former head coach. I let other coaches get the pregame speeches. So each coach we pick a game, and throughout the season, each coach, they do the Tuesday scouting report. And then in pregame, I let my coaches do a lot of the pregame speeches. I think sometimes, we have a large staff, and sometimes assistant coaches can touch your team in a way that you might not be able to. They might be able to, have a few words or something that might be able to get the guys' attention. So, I do address them, and I'll have a few things to say, but like this past week, it was our tight end coach, Coach Tony Spencer. It was his game. Next week, it'll be Coach Maurice, our running back coach. So I let our staff address the team and just try to hit the guys from every angle. But nothing changes. I don't have any tear-jerking speech. The same thing, like I said, the guys are not going to change, and we're going to do what we've been doing. I'm not going to go in there throwing chairs and knocking over water coolers trying to get them ready to play. They'll be ready.
And looking at your team, what position would you say has really made the biggest improvement that has made you guys be able to produce such a good season this year? That aha of the season, what position would that be?
Well, I don't think it's just one position. I think we have a good football team. And I say it every week, we don't have that true star power where, we have this 5-star guy here and, this guy. We have a lot of really good football players across the board. And we try to play complementary football in all three phases. So, the guys that are making plays, I knew they were great players. Obviously, Pee Wee and the receiving core, I've seen those guys work all summer. So I know what they bring. I know our running back room. Our offensive line, thank God, is healthy this year. So we've had some continuity there, been able to run the football. Defensively, we have some guys banged up and some guys that are out right now. But the backups have come in and kept this thing rolling. So I'm just pleased across the board with our kicking game, offense and defense. So it hasn't just been one.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you.
Daryl Duvall.
Hey, Coach, this is Gerald Duvall with Power U Media. I just want to say congratulations on your win, but I just wanted to kind of touch base with, the last time y'all actually won the MEAC Conference Championship was 2014, 15, 16. How does the kids feel about it's so close that they can win it all? What is the feeling about where they are this season?
I think they're humble. We haven't been talking about championships and Celebration Bowl and all that stuff. We don't do that. It's just about staying in the moment and win this next game. So I told them, win this next, we can talk about a championship. So, they're locked in and, you got to be humble and got to stay hungry. And I like where we are right now. And we had a great practice yesterday. Guys were flying around and did a really good job of, in the weight room of working hard in there. So I think we have great senior leadership. My assistant coaches and staff they do a great job of getting them locked in. And like I say, it's a team effort across the board.
Coach, thank you very much. Congratulations. I look forward to you seeing you at the Celebration Bowl.
Don't do that, man. I'll see you in Norfolk this weekend.
Good luck. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks.
All right.
Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you.
Hey, what's up, Ty? How you?
I'm good. I hope that got didn't jinx you just now. I'm with Black College Football Weekly and the Black College Football Hall of Fame Selection Committee. And with the Black College Football Hall of Fame, we are in the process of vetting players for Player of the Year honors. So if you're speaking on behalf of Davius and why he should be considered the Player of the Year, give me a couple of reasons why he should be that guy.
Was watch the film. I mean, he stats. I don't know how he compares with other folks, and I don't pay too much attention to that. You know, we try to win football games around here, and we're not really concerned about stats. I hope guys get accolades at the end of the year and all that, but if I'm up, 2 scores in the fourth quarter, we're gonna run the football. Bottom line, we're trying to win the game. So I'm not gonna be throwing the football up in the fourth quarter just to try to pad his stats. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. It's about the team and winning football games. So I hope he gets the opportunity to, to at least be in the conversation for, Player of the Year. I do know that he can beat you with his arm as well as legs. Very strong, has great speed. He's running over folks out there every week. I hate to see him do it, but he'll lower his shoulder on you and run through you, as well as kill you, in the run game. But great guy. I just hope that he has the opportunity to be mentioned in those Player of the Year conversations.
He is in the conversation. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Foreman.
Good morning, Coach Skip Foreman, HBCU Game Day,
What you got there, Skip?
and my dog. We just saw a FedEx truck, bird 8.
Killer.
Okay. Well, she's a trained killer. Anyway,
All right.
the expectations at this point are heightened. And I think Daryl may have alluded to my question earlier. How do you keep things in check? How do you make it the next game and not, as was mentioned in a previous question, we're going to the Celebration Bowl?
Well, you say the expectations heightened. Well, not for me. My expectations have been here, all year long. And these guys understand, what was at stake. They understand where we were trying to go. It goes back to July when we weren't in the top 10 HBCUs. And people were saying those 10 schools better than us. And I disagree. And these guys had a chip on their shoulder. And we said that we were going to let our work speak for itself. So we just want to improve every week and just let folks know that we are as advertised.
And going into Norfolk State, you have to tell the players it's Norfolk State and nothing beyond that. How do you rein that in as well? Or is it sort of much already done for you? I mean, there's only that game and it's
I guarantee our guys will be focused on Norfolk State. I guarantee you that. We're not running around talking about ring sizes and Celebration Bowl and all that. No, we're not. We're talking about what do we have to do to come with a game plan to beat these folks by 1 point. That's it. Like I said, we're going to approach this game the same way we have the other however many. We're not going to do anything different. But we're going to play. We need to play better this week than we did last week. That's the standard here, and that's what I want to see.
All right, Coach. Thank you, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
Mia Berry with our last question.
Hi, Coach. How are you today?
I'm well, Mia. How are you?
I'm doing well. So your opponent this weekend, there are some familiar ties. You were on Coach Odom's staff as a coordinator back at Southern. What exactly are you expecting from a Dawson Odom's led Norfolk team this weekend?
Mia, you always do your homework. You're going to do your research. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Coach Odoms and I, we go back since I believe 94. We played here. We were teammates here. He played defensive line. And I was in the secondary here at North Carolina Central. And then he did give me an opportunity to be his defensive coordinator at Southern University for 3 years. And that obviously gave me the opportunity to be able to get this job. But I was so appreciative of him. I learned so much schematically both X's and O's and, as far as managing a football team from him while I was down at Southern University. So I appreciate everything he's done for me. As far as his football team, they're going to be hard-nosed and they're going to be disciplined. I can tell you that right there. A couple of coaches on staff, I've known to have a really good relationship, and those guys are very knowledgeable, and they're gonna have a game plan for us. They are. So we've got to be prepared. We've got to cross our T's and dot all our I's and be ready to roll.
This isn't your first matchup. You guys also played last year, came away with the results you wanted. How well do you think knowing Odom's, knowing members of his staff kind of helps you and your coaches prepare for a game like Norfolk?
Well, they know our staff. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Matt Leone, he was on staff at Southern University as well. So our staffs are really familiar with each other. We just have to make sure that we're prepared. We have to make sure that we execute, and our guys are focused and locked in. So it's going to be about execution. And like I say, Eagles can't beat Eagles. So we've got to come bring our A game this week.
Thank you, Coach. That's all I had. Have a blessed day today.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Coach Oliver, that is it for us today. Thank you for being here and good luck this week.
Thank you, Karen. Have a good day.
All right, you too. The Eagles take on Norfolk State at 2 p.m. on Saturday in Norfolk. The game can be seen live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Delaware State head coach Rod Milstead. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. I'm well, thank you.
Oh, you look nice. Nice and sharp.
Well, thank you. I'm headed to Coach Bassard's memorial in about 5 or 6 minutes. So we're gonna.
Okay.
I thought to go faster, but I forgot Trey's winning a whole lot. So a lot of people want to talk to, which I'm not mad at.
All right, Coach, we'll try to keep it quick. Can you give us a recap of Saturday's game against South Carolina State?
We knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. It's been that way the last 4 opportunities we've had to play them, and we've always come out on the prior ones. We've come out on the short end of the stick. It just feels good to be able to come out on the winning side this time. Our guys played hard. My hat off to Coach Pugh. It was a reason why they were defending MEAC champs, the reason why they were defending HBCU national champions. That ball club over there, I got to take my hat off to. They made it very, very difficult, especially at the end. We really had a good game plan for them going into the game, and we executed it. Made some mistakes, and then at the end, our wagon started to sway a little bit by mentally. We had 3 penalties, 15 yards apiece, and that didn't help. And then they go ahead and score, and I had to make a decision: either play the last 48 seconds or let's push in the overtime. I felt that momentum had switched, and it was on their sideline, and that we needed to regroup. So we just went into what we call victory formation, let the clock roll out, and take our chance in overtime. We put our defense on the field, which led us pretty much all season long. And that first pass, he threw it, and our cornerback saw it, he read it, and took it. And we got a chance to get the football. First opportunity, our back takes it all the way down to the 1 yard line. And we try to punch it in 3 times, but that defense they got, that's a Buddy Pugh defense, was very, very tough. And then our freshman kicker kicks the game-winning field goal, and we were able to escape with a 3-point victory.
All right, Coach, and what can we expect from DSU this week against Morgan State?
Well, it's going to be a tough football game. South Carolina State got beat by Morgan, and they got beat by us. So it's going to be, we know both teams are very talented, and both teams are eager to continue on winning in the MEAC. So Morgan has been our Achilles heel over the years. I have never beat them since I've been here. And we really need to have a very good football game. They got a different coaching staff, and Damon has those guys playing well, really well. In order for us to play, we got to play 4 quarters of football, and we got to start from out the gate. We can't wait for them to get ahead for us to come back. We have to start at the gate and start fast.
All right, Coach, do you have any time for at least 1 or 2 questions?
I got time. Yes, I have time.
Okay. All right, we'll begin with Dr. Cavill.
Coach Milstead, I want to say congratulations on a hard-fought victory. At the end of the third quarter, you went up by 10, 24-14. But as you said, with the championship level team under Coach Buddy Pugh, they were going to continue to fight. Then you have this guy out there named Shaq Davis that just finds a way to make plays to put this team back in just, it seems like, any game that you think you may have under some control. Talk about the mental fortitude of your team, offensively, defensively, to keep pushing forward no matter what is going on in just about any game, particularly this type of game where it looks like, hey, we're going to come out and do what our coaches told us to do and be in a position to get the victory. And then all of a sudden things get difficult, they push through and they get it done.
Well, I'm very proud of this group of guys. You know, we've had some adversity this year, and we're not going to use that as a crutch or as an excuse. You know, we're in the business of football, and you're judged by wins and losses, okay? Nothing else. Excuses don't get it in this game of college football. And our players have really bought into that. We had a grievance session, and today will be hard for the football team as we lay Coach Bo Bassard to rest today, finally. And it's going to be hard. But our guys know that we have 2 more games to go, and that we have to focus and stay focused to get it done. And that's the only thing we're thinking about is this next game against Morgan. But as far as Shaq is he reminds me a lot of Trey Gross that we had last year. We needed a play. That's the guy we go to. And he's a big receiver. I tried talking to him a little bit. He smiled at me, and then he goes in and scores a touchdown. So it reminds me never to say anything else to that young man. But no, we knew we had our work cut out for him. We thought we pretty much played good defense on him for about 2.5 quarters, and then he got loose and caught that ball. I mean, that was a heck of a catch, a great thrown ball. Only he could catch it, and that started it from that point on. And momentum started to switch. You know, the fourth quarter, we didn't score. They scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. Right then and there, I knew I had to really bring our team together and get their mental focus. So that was a big part of, you know, a lot of people, I've heard the comments, oh, you guys should have played the last 48 seconds. But I felt like the momentum had switched and flipped onto the other side of the field. And that, you know, instead of burning a timeout, I need to pull my team together and have a quick conversation. And those guys responded, and just mentally they locked in. I felt that we had it started to slip away at that particular time. And I think guys in the back of their mind were thinking, oh man, same scenario again. We get up, and then at the end we can't finish. So we needed that game to get over the hump. And I think that was the game that it really helped our program take the next step, was to you know, have a chance to be successful against South Carolina State, where, you know, prior games, it's always come down either overtime, you know, 3 points, 8 points. It was always one score away from us having opportunities to win.
I certainly couldn't take my eyes off the television or streaming platform when I watched it, so I can humbly see what you're saying there. Moving on, as you talked about, to Morgan State, another team that is playing extremely tough football, looking to try to get over the hump too. So in a lot of ways, they are going through the same process of trying to transition from maybe losing close games to winning them more often than not. Talk about what did they bring to the table. They are physical, much like your team, both on offense and defense. What are your thoughts in terms of this matchup coming up this weekend?
Oh, they're a lot like us. They're Coach Wilson has done a phenomenal job, you know, taking the current Bears and then adding himself to the mixture, and getting their mindset focused in on how, you know, he wants to manage that football team, and all those guys buying in. You can see that they're definitely buying into what he's selling. There's a culture over there at Morgan, which he's developing, and those guys have really just taken it and ran with it. The offensive coordinator, BT, does a great job of playing to their quarterback strength. Their offensive line, they're big. They do a very good job of opening holes, and then they have several running backs that they use in the course. It makes it very, very difficult. Our defense, we know we got our hands cut out for us because, you know, we got to stop the run. That's something we've been doing, you know, fairly well this year. But they have a very, very good passing game. And, you know, we saw their passing style last year when their offensive coordinator was at Norfolk. So we have a small sense of what he does, but he's changed it up a lot this year. And it's going to be very, very challenging this week to make sure we prepare for all aspects of what they do offensive. Defensively, they fly around like us. You know, they like to create havoc, like to change the line of scrimmage. Their linebackers are very, very active, but you know, their two defensive ends do a very good job of getting a feel and putting pressure on your quarterback. So we're going to have to, you know, sturdy up our offensive line. I mean, and making sure that, you know, we continue to focus in on what Del State does well, and that's running the football.
Thank you, Coach. And again, may the spiritual power be with you today. Condolences again to you, your staff, your team, and the university in terms of what you all are working through. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Brad Gillens.
Good morning, Coach Milstead. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Fantastic is usually my word, but you took it from me, so I don't get a chance to say it. Congratulations on a hard-fought victory. My question is, you know, being in the hostile confines of our C. Dawson Stadium in Orangeburg, South Carolina, as I'm sure you know, that's a tough place to play. Fans are fervent, and they are, you know, extremely rabid about their Bulldogs, you know, especially coming off of a Celebration Championship. Talk to me about that last touchdown that the Bulldogs were able to score, and then right immediately after going into the overtime, it seemed like it was basically the same route concept. Was there something your defensive coordinator was able to see to be able to talk to the defensive back to say, hey, if they come back to this again, you know, be ready for it?
No, two different concepts. One was a wheel route, was a rub route with a slot receiver kind of hesitates, and the outside receiver runs like a semi slant for the most part, and then he comes off his heels and kind of got us in the switch on that one. The last one, the receiver just ran a 10-yard comeback, and our defensive back was already playing off. So when the quarterback looked that way, he started edging towards him. And then he said, Coach, I couldn't believe he threw it, because I was sitting right there, you know, 2 yards outside of him, and he just jumped in front of him and took the ball. So no, two different concepts. We were just very, very fortunate to be able to make a play. That's what I challenged our guys when we were waiting for them to flip the coin to see who gets the ball first or decides who get the ball first. I challenged our football team. Hey, somebody's got to make a play. Okay, all I'm asking, overtime, just do your job and we'll be successful. And that's exactly what took place. Guys did their job and we were successful.
One of the things you talked about earlier was leaning on your defense the entire season. Just kind of talk about how proud of those guys you were for being able to stand up, you know, in the face of adversity and being able to come up with that turnover, and then, you know, obviously being able to get you guys in a position where you were able to secure the victory.
Well, the leadership on our defense, that's where majority of our seniors are on our defense. And those guys play hard. They've been in our system, you know, 2 or 3 and some of them 4 years. They know the expectation of Coach Kramer and Coach Missick. And they've just been providing that leadership, not only on the defensive side, but on the offensive side as well. They've been big supporters of our offense, trying to get that cohesiveness to kind of gel on the offensive side as well during the course of the game, as well as in practice. But when we need a big play to happen, our defense has been there to provide that spark, that takeaway, or something. They kind of concerned me because they got those 3 15-yard penalties that really put us in put South Carolina State in a great opportunity to score that last touchdown on the short yard. So, but they made it back in the overtime, and so all is forgiven, and we're going to move on to Morgan.
Hey, Coach Milstead, in the interest of time and based on everything that you guys have going on, thank you for taking my questions. Condolences to you and the Delaware State family, and I wish you well this week against Morgan State.
I certainly appreciate it. Today's going to be a tough one.
Absolutely.
All right, last question from James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. My condolences to you and the Delaware State University football family and the entire DSU family. Talk a little bit about defining moments, the signature victory. Take us back to the field goal. And that's got to be special for Hornets Nation, and just the fact that you guys were able to win this game, as you say, against the defending HBCU national champions at their place.
Well, you know, just a week ago, playing Central for homecoming, you know, I wanted to fire our kickers. You know, they had a rough day. 1 field goal, 2 extra points missed. That's not what we do. You know, we went out and invested a lot of time and money into our kickers for that reason, because a year ago, it was one of our weak spots. And so I brought them into a meeting and sat them down, and we had a real hard talk about, you know, going forward and what the expectations were. So I was very, very pleased with Nate, what he did. Nate Wilson, true freshman. He kicked one out of bounds, which I wasn't too happy about, but he stuck 2 through the end zone. And the field goals, 2 field goals that he made, extra points. He was pretty much flawless, besides kicking the ball out of bounds. And he kicked it long and then out of bounds. So I wasn't really upset with him. But you know, if our kicking game continues to improve, that's the one spot that we really need. And, you know, before he kicked the ball, I said, hey, this is what you do. This is what you live for. You'll never forget this day. When that ball, after that ball is snapped and leaves your foot, you'll never forget this moment. And, you know, so very thankful that it went our way. Just a few years ago, that same long snapper snapped the ball, snapped the bad snap, and we missed the field goal down in South Carolina State, and he redeemed himself as well. So it was an emotional day for all of us. It was something that we definitely needed because, like I said, I've never. It's the first time I got a chance to win against Coach Pugh, and you know, Coach Pugh is the measuring stick of the MEAC right now. And I tell everybody that, you know, I hope to be in this conference and, you know, in HBCU as long as he has been, and be able to, one day people will say the things that we say about him. But he is the measuring stick. You know, he is. You go to their stadium and you see all those MEAC championships up on that concrete pillar where they do their where they have, I guess, the president's overlook area, and it's pretty impressive. Goes way back, and then all the guys they have, you know, have given opportunities to go into the NFL. You know, that's a program with a lot of rich history and Hall of Famers as well. So, you know, we're not there yet. Delaware State's not there yet, but we are pointing in the right direction, and very, very fortunate to leave out of South Carolina State, leave out of Orangeburg, you know, with a victory.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day and a good week versus Morgan.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, thanks again for being here with us today. Our prayers are with you in the program. Good luck today. Good luck this week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
Take care. The Hornets return to Alumni Stadium for a 2 p.m. matchup against Morgan State. Watch the game live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we're joined by Norfolk State head coach Dawson Odoms. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. How you doing? Doing great.
Doing well. Glad to hear that. Can you give us a recap of Saturday's game at A&T?
Well, it was a good environment. We went down there to Greensboro, and I tell you, guys played extremely hard, and we were very competitive, and we had our opportunities. We just didn't capitalize at the right time. I call it playing complementary football. We get a stop on defense, and then we have to punt. Offense would punch it in, then, you know, we give up some points on defense. Special teams, we backed up, we didn't flip the field. So it's just some of those things that have been there all year that sort of prevents you from winning, but it didn't stop the guys from fighting. It was 35-24, and we had chances. We had chances to get it to 31-35. Now you put a little bit of pressure on them, and maybe it changed the outcome of that football game. But like I tell people, our record is not an indicator of how hard these guys are working. We understand these young guys are getting better. They're getting some great experience. Our upperclassmen are playing well. We're just chopping wood and carrying water, and the process is not yielding W's. But I think everybody can see that a few plays here and there, and we could be a different football team. But we're getting behind. Once we get behind by 2 scores, it's kind of hard to beat anybody, and we understand that. So we got a home game coming up this week. Be senior day. We get a chance to take on Central, who Coach Oliver and his team is doing an outstanding job, and we look forward to see if we can go 1-0.
All right, Coach, you've answered my second question, so we'll jump right into media questions, beginning with James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. I hope you and all the gentlemen are at NSU are well. Just talk a little bit about an opportunity to play against Trey Oliver. Obviously, you guys go back to Central, but talk about what Saturday can look like.
Well, it's another opportunity. It's another opportunity to try to taste winning. He's done an outstanding job changing that program and the landscape of it. They got a good football team. Those guys, we know a lot of those guys that are on staff there, and they're doing an outstanding job. And we just look forward to the opportunity to be able to kick off at home. Our last home game. We haven't won a home game this year, so defending our field is something that we got to take pride in and take, and just be grateful to be able to play at home. And who would have figured that, Central would come in here with a chance to really be the outright champions, and we got a chance to spoil that. So we're going to play football. I think they know that they're coming into an environment where our football team is going to be ready to play, and we know they're going to be ready to play. So it ought to be a good battle.
Coach, developing men and building a program as seen at Southern and now with the Spartans, just talk about continuing to move this thing forward.
Well, it's going to move forward. I think that's the nature of the business. I think you have to understand where you are, the reality of where you are, and have a plan in place. And I think we have an outstanding plan. We understand our deficiencies, but we understand that everybody is involved with the betterment of this program, and that's what makes it exciting. I think you can see a lot of our young players getting to play, and we took on a very good North Carolina A&T football team, and we faced a very good running back. And for the most part, I thought our guys did an outstanding job of fitting their gaps and playing the run. And then offensively, we were able to move the ball down the field. We had some explosive plays. So we're doing things. We're just not doing those things over 60 minutes. But a lot of guys are getting some experience, and that's the biggest thing with turning the program around is not only having younger players, but getting those younger players some quality game reps. And we've been able to do that this year.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You do the same.
Mia Berry.
Hi, Coach Odoms. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Mia?
I'm doing well. Just have 2 quick questions. James kind of alluded to it already, but a lot of familiar ties between you and Coach Oliver, your coaching staff, his coaching staff. What are some things that what are you and your coaching staff kind of planning this weekend that, to give yourself an advantage just because you guys know each other so well?
Well, we're planning to play a football game and getting our football team prepared to play, to go against a very good football team. And nothing special. I just think it's going to be a competitive game. When you winning or when you losing, it's really about what are you doing to get better every week. And that's what our focus is on, is trying to figure out how to go 1-0. How can we play better this week than we did last week? And everything else will take care of itself. And no matter what, that's just our process. We don't get away from it. It's not going to change. We go chop wood, carry water, whether we're winning, whether we're losing, whether things are going good, whether they're going bad. It doesn't change. Our formula to success doesn't change. Our formula to the day doesn't change. We're going to continue to do things a certain way. And we know that eventually that process is going to win out over time.
Okay, quick follow up to that. Off the football field, you and Coach Oliver have a good relationship. You were the first coach to give him the defensive coordinator position. Looking at what he's done with your alma mater, you being, him being your former protege, how does it feel kind of seeing the way things have played out over the season for Oliver?
Oh, I'm excited for him. I think, anytime you can be a part of other coaches' lives and see them being successful, I think it's always great. it's only a matter of time. I think he had all the characteristics of being a good head football coach. A lot of it is just getting an opportunity and then having time to be able to build something. I think we all as coaches can live with not having success when we've been given the applicable amount of time to be successful. And I'm happy for what he's doing, him and his family, man, his wife, they great people. And we all went to school together. It's great to see the success. But all that goes out the window on Saturday. We're gonna kick the ball off and we're gonna be competitive against each other. But you know, you got to be happy for each other in this profession, because as coaches, we always say we all we got. So when one of us is having success, especially as an alum, I'm nothing but grateful for that, because it's hard to be successful in this business, but over time you can see what happens. And I'm happy for him. I'm grateful for him, because we've been knowing each other for a long time. So we played together, and some great things. We had some great memories and some great experiences. So looking forward to Saturday and seeing him and just chalking it up before we kick off.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Julia Haskins.
Hey, Coach, I'm just wondering, with the playing two quarterbacks, what kind of factors go into the decision of whether, you're going to play Otto or Jalen?
Not really a lot. It's just they're different skill sets. I think they each bring something different to the game, and defensive coordinators have to prepare for both. And when you're preparing for both, there's less time for you to prepare for the other. We're going to play both. I don't think that's no secret. We have a package for both individuals, and we're going to see if one guy's going and doing really well, we sort of roll with that guy. But they each have a different skill set that we think we can take advantage of and give our football team an opportunity to be successful.
And finally, how has the adversity you guys have faced this season kind of molded the identity of this team?
Well, what I talk to the team about is that there's no such thing as frustration and adversity in football. We're grateful every day to wake up and have an opportunity to play this game. The people outside of the locker room are result-based. And when you're result-based, you're going to be upset about what you see. But when you're process-driven, you see different things to let you know you're on your way. And you see different things to say it's small steps of success taking place. And when you do that, then you know that you're on the right path. So we're not result driven. We know that in this business, you got to win. But those wins don't always come when we want them. But we know they go come. We know they go manifest here at Norfolk State, because we're winners. And it's just taking us a little longer to get to that plateau. But we're winners. We're champions by heart, by nature. So, and we're going to fulfill that and bring that to light here at Norfolk State. So we're process driven. Just trust the process. And if you don't do nothing else, just trust the process. Just know that Dawson Odoms is going to win out here at Norfolk State, but you got to just trust the process.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Odoms, good morning to you. How are you?
Great. Good morning to you.
Coach, this game features the league's top-ranked offense versus the last-rated defense. What has been the reason for your deficiencies on that side of the ball this year?
Well, a lot of it got to do with just fits, covering, things that make you a really good defense. We lost our top two corners, early in the season. So that led for us to have to play some younger guys at that position. And then you got to be able to stop the run, and you got to be able to fit the run, and run fits and personnel and strength, and all those things are part of it. Schematically, all those things got to work together in order to be able to be great on defense. It don't just happen. A lot of our guys are young guys. We had a really good freshman signing class. But it's still some young guys in there that are playing, but they're physically probably not where they're going to be in a year. So a lot of that leads to run fits, but we got better. I thought we got better last week in our run fits, and we still give up some yards passing, but I believe that if we can stop the run, we got a chance. And that's what we talk about every day, is somehow finding a way to stop the run, eliminate the big passes and the big plays in the passing game. So it's a lot of combination factors, but at the end of the day, our guys will come to work and we're going to get a little bit better, and we're going to see if we can taste winning on Saturday.
And Coach, what will be the key to trying to contain Davis Richard this week?
Well, I think that's the key every week when you talk about North Carolina Central. He's been as advertised. They're a good football team, and I think when you got a really good quarterback, it gives you an opportunity to be successful. And they just it's not about one man. They spread the ball around. They got other players that can make plays. You got to be fundamentally sound. You got to execute. You got to tackle. You got to tackle really well against them. And you got to make some plays. That's what it comes down to. You look at their schedule, teams that have beaten them have made plays. Teams that haven't beaten them have made plays. I think it's a lot of parity in this conference. You go get their best. They know what they're playing for. We know what opportunity lies in front of us. So it should be a good football game. But our guys are going to have to play extremely well because they're a really good football team.
And finally, Coach, you mentioned up top about the fact that it's sort of a make or break game for you, being that you could spoil some riches for them in this weekend. So how does that factor in terms of your pregame talk to your players this weekend?
Pregame, if I got to talk to them to get them ready to go in pregame, then we already beat. We go get ready to play in meetings and practice this weekend, get our guys ready to go play football. And I think we've been able to do that every week, regardless of our record. If you look at the film from the last game, they scored 2 late touchdowns to put the game away. But I like the direction that we're going. I like where we are. I think we got a chance to really do something special before this season is over. These guys are going to play. They're going to play, and they go get our best effort. And I think we'll have them ready to play. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
Last question too, Coach. Knowing you for a long time in your history, this is unfamiliar territory for you. So how has it been for you this season?
Well, I always, draw back on my knowledge and previous experiences. Tell people all the time, the first time you jump in that water and you don't know how to swim, that's a different experience too. So life is going to always give you some things that you haven't encountered, but you always draw from the experiences of the things that you have encountered. And that's what build men. That's what build character. This is not adversity. This is just a part of the path that we have to go on in order to reach the success that we know we're going to reach. It's a difficult journey. Yeah, nobody wants to be on a journey where you got one win. But guess what? This is the path that we're on. And we're the ones that can change that. And we're going to change it. And hopefully on Saturday, we get a chance to go 1-0. And that's always the message to our players. But it don't happen overnight, and it don't happen a lot of times when we want it to. That's why your faith is always tested, because you can't see the promises that are there when you're in the midst of your adversity or when you're in the darkness of your life. But eventually, if you stay at it, you'll see the light that's on the other side. And that's just what I believe. I believe that this is something we got to go through. We have a purpose for being here, and we're going to fulfill that purpose. But it's going to take a little bit of time. But you can rest assured that we're chopping wood and carrying water, and this process is getting us closer than we are today. So I look forward to that challenge.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Last question comes from Dr. Cavill. Oh, was after the next one.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Ville's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Coach Odoms, you talk about being process oriented, and I can really appreciate that framework. Talk a little bit about, if you would, the nature of bringing in freshmen, even if they're from winning program, or high school students, bringing in them as freshmen, even if they're from winning programs, the nature of the matriculation process that needs to take place in the youthful movement you have on your team.
Well, the biggest thing is that we really didn't have a recruiting class in 21. And then you graduate a class in 22. So if you're able to bring in 25 guys that you didn't bring in 21, if you lose 20 guys in 22, that's 45 guys that you do not have in your program. And then you sign a 22 class that you're not going to be able to sign 45 guys. So you're missing that class. And so we understand that. And we have a lot of young guys that are having to play because you don't have that class that's present. So, but they're gaining experience, and gaining high school guys. You gotta get the right nutrition. You gotta live in that weight room. You gotta have an off season. We got about 50 guys on this football team that haven't even been through an off season yet. So that's going to play dividends for us as we continue to move forward. Where other teams are going to be having to bring in guys, our guys are going to be here. So I got to tell them they're going to get better, and they're going to get older. You just take a little bit of time for them to get a little bit older, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. And that's the nature of rebuilding a program. But when we rebuild it, we go build it for the long haul. And I think everybody that know me understand that they know I got a plan. They know that we've done it and we know how to do it. But again, it's going to take a little bit more time to get a return on that investment.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time and good luck this week.
Always a pleasure, Karen. Behold, the green and gold.
The Spartans return to Dick Price Stadium to host North Carolina Central at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Watch the game live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. We're now joined by South Carolina State head coach Buddy Pugh. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. Can you start us off with an opening statement about last week's game against Delaware State, please?
Yeah. They had another tough one. We lost to Delaware at home in overtime. And I got to take my hat off to Coach Milstead and his team. They came in here with a great plan and got us down pretty quickly, 10-0. And it's kind of back and forth from that point on. We finally caught up at the very end and got the game into overtime. And first play in overtime, we throw a pick and they go down and kick a field goal, and they win the game 27-24.
All right, Coach. And what can we expect from the Bulldogs this weekend at Howard?
I don't know what we're going to expect. We got a little bit of a different scenario here. We've done pretty much out of it. We've got an outside chance if Norfolk can beat Central and all the other kind of things happen. We kind of think like Central is worthy. We feel like, they've got the best overall record and have had the best year. So, I'm kind of pulling for them to go on and finish it out. But, we're going to go up and play Howard. Howard's really looking like, a good football team. And Central beat them up this past weekend. But, it wasn't nearly as wide of disparity between the two teams as the score kind of indicates. I think kind of like when we played Morgan, things kind of got a little bit here at the end. But I can tell you that we've got our work cut out for us to keep from getting beat up again up at Howard. They've got a great, I think, young group of guys that they got coming along. You can see them developing. I can see those guys from last year to now, being a good bit improved from where they were at this point last year. So it'll be a tough game for us this Saturday. We've got good many guys. We're starting to play some of our younger guys now. And, it's an opportunity for us to kind of go into a spring practice mode. So we'll go in there and try to see if we can play a lot of guys. And at that point, we'll see what happens.
All right, Coach, thank you. We'll now turn to the media for questions, beginning with James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Orangeburg are well. It's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. Talk a little bit about this gentleman you have on defense, Mr. Jablonski Green, and his upside. And he's a guy that a lot of people feel like they will watch him for years to come on Sundays.
Well, let's hope so. Jablonski did not play this past Saturday. He got hurt at Morgan and didn't play from maybe like the first quarter on at that game. He's going to have a procedure done tomorrow. And at that point, he'll be done for the season. So he's now contemplating. We're not exactly sure. And he's got another year that he can come back. So there's a possibility now that he might come back for another year. But as of right now, he's out for the year.
Coach, the pantheon of great coaches. You look at a Buddy Pugh, you look at Coach Rob down at Southern, Eddie Robinson. You look at great sports icons, the Muhammad Ali's, if you will, the Michael Jordans. To be a part of that legacy, just talk a little bit about how special it is, because when you look at your trophy case, there's proof in the pudding, so to speak.
Well, it's more about the relationships and the people, the kids and the teams, that we've had a chance to be with, to be able to associate with over the years. Every one of them is a little bit different, and there's a special joy, in each one of them. Some of them won. Some teams win more than others, but I don't know if the winning teams sometimes have a better place in your heart sometimes than some of the not so great teams. So I can tell you that I've had a wonderful career, and I've had a absolutely marvelous time getting to know all of the different people that have run across my path as players and coaches and opponents and all kinds of other stuff that you have, over the years. So it's been a lot of fun, and, we'll have to see where it goes at the end of this year.
Coach, you look at a Trey Oliver, you look at Coach Scott up in DC, and these are gentlemen who are on an upward trajectory. Just talk a little bit about what you see in these young coaches and guys that are extremely competitive with great football teams.
Well, I've said all the time that our league, and don't leave, Dawson Odoms and Rod Milstead, those guys, out of that same formula. It's not a lot of, I've said all the time that we were fortunate last year to have the success that we had. And we went to the Celebration Bowl and won a game where, we played all of the teams in our league real close. We went through the league. People think, kind of unscathed. Well, it was nothing further from the truth. All those games were close games. And I said this year that we could win all our games again, or we could lose them all. And, it's kind of crazy that the only game looks like we're going to win is the North Carolina Central game. And now we're struggling trying to win a game, the back end of this deal. So Trey and Larry, both those guys are fantastic young football coaches. I'm proud of them and excited about what they bring to this league for years to come. And I'm hoping that they'll stick around and continue to build on their careers that way here in our league, because we need them. And, it's a lot of fun watching their teams on film or watch their teams in general in person, as they develop, and we can go out and say that those are MEAC football teams.
Coach, in closing, this week, next stop, the nation's capital, Howard University. Talk about going in there, Green Stadium, and what you envision.
Well, it's always a tough place for us to play. We've had all kinds of weather deals there. I remember one year we went in there, it snowed and rained and sleeted and rained and winded and some kind of a nor'easter, something came through there. And then now we've got a little bit of a hurricane brewing on our end. It might be hopefully a little bit south of us that way, while we are actually playing. But I can tell you that the real hurricane that I'm concerned about is Larry's team, those guys. And that whole staff, he's got several guys on that staff that, that have been associated with us in different ways over time. And I know them all to be fantastic young football coaches. And you look at those guys, they got playing that quarterback here, that Williams kid is starting to really develop and come on in a way where, it's some top-notch, big old, pretty good-looking quarterbacks in this league. Between him and Central's kid, I don't know if you can have better-looking prototypical style guys now that can, if you saw that guy last night that was running around playing for the Titans, all those guys are fantastic athletes and can throw it and do all the stuff that they do. So it'll be fun to go in and play these guys. And it'll be interesting to see exactly how we do react, after having gone through what we've gone through the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week, and we'll talk to you soon. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Brad Gillens.
Coach Pugh, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. This is Bradford Gillens. How's everything?
Hey, Brad, how you?
I'm hanging in there, sir. First things first, can we get an update on injury update on Corey Fields?
Yeah, he's done. He's going to do surgery on his hand. He broke his finger at Morgan. And we tried to go with him a little bit more, but we couldn't. We actually played with the idea of trying to do some things with him with a tape deal, but it's on his throwing hand. And, it's pretty much a done deal that way for a quarterback with a finger. So we think that he's going to go ahead and do the surgery this week.
Okay, got it. That being said, with the season, for the most part, unless
It's
you
done.
get a ton of help all but over
Yeah.
from a
You
MEAC
can say it. I
championship
know. Listen,
perspective.
I know it's a hard thing to say, but at this point, it's not good for us. But go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my point is, with the season, kind of all but over from a MEAC championship perspective, and the injury to Fields, and where he's going to have surgery, can we expect to see some of the younger guys like Prometheus Franklin get some action in these last two games, or are you going to stick with Nick, knowing that this is his last year eligibility?
Yeah, we're going to play those young kids. We're going to try to see if we can give each one of them an opportunity to play a good bit these next couple of games. So I think it makes all the sense in the world. I don't necessarily think, it's a situation where, I've got to do something trying to hold on to a job or some of that nature. So I think it's better for South Carolina State's overall program that we go out and see if we can do as much as we can to develop our team for the coming year. So we'll almost go into like a spring practice mode as far as the number of young guys that we'll be playing this coming couple 2 weeks. So I look forward to seeing what these guys look like. We might really find something that we can really hang our hat on next year.
Gotcha. Over your 20-year career, you've been you're a master motivator, all of these good things, the cards are stacked against us, this and that. How do you inspire your team to play for the next 2 weeks, knowing they don't control their own destiny in the conference race going forward?
That's a toughie, but I can tell you that we love playing football. We love the joy of being together and the camaraderie and all other kind of stuff. So football is not work for us. Now, practice is not all that easy sometimes. You got to get up early in the morning. We practice at 6:30 in the morning, that kind of stuff. But it's better to be out that time of day. And you got the whole rest of the day to actually do your schoolwork and enjoy and do whatever you want to do that way. So, I think it's always fun it's more fun during football season than it is outside of football season. So, it's not necessarily a chore to get excited to play.
Got it. And then last question, Coach. I promise this is the last one. Looking forward to Howard. You've got a huge contingent of alumni, SESU alumni in the DMV area. What do you say to those fans to come out and support the Bulldogs this weekend against the Bison?
Well, I think it's always fun to see our team play. You get a chance to see this year some of the up and coming guys, in our program. You see some guys you might not ordinarily get a chance to see. So I'm looking forward to coming to going to DC to play Coach Scott and his crowd. He's got a fantastic young football team developing. We're kind of maybe where he was a year ago now. We kind of switched positions. We're going a little bit opposite direction. So hopefully we can put our foot in the ground and go back up again. But at the same time, it is an opportunity for our fans to come out and support the Bulldogs. And I can tell you that I'm sure that we'll have a nice crowd there, because traditionally, anytime we play at Morgan or Howard or Delaware State even, I can tell you that I can challenge those fan bases from those schools to get up and come out and see their teams play, because if not, then South Carolina State will have more people there than you will.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time and good luck this weekend against the Bison in
Appreciate
DC.
You.
All right.
Dr. Cavill?
Yes, Coach Q. This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How's it going this morning?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good. You've seen a lot of football, ups and downs over the years in many different ways. That oblong football bounces in weird ways. Sometimes it's for you, sometimes it's not. You have teams with talent that come in and they reach the heights, and other times teams not still reach the heights, and it goes the opposite way. Talk a little bit about your experience of you able, or maybe you're not, to see the magic in terms of a team being able to get it done on the field? What is in the mixer that creates that environment to say, hey, this is a team that understands it and they can move forward, or this is not?
And I don't know sometimes if it's necessarily the team that actually that year gets it done or not get it done. This football team this year might have been one of our more talented returning groups. We thought we had pretty much the same team coming back. We lost a guy or two on offense and a guy or two on defense. And, you know, we were just assured that we were shoo-ins to be back in the Celebration Bowl, you know, for 2022. And you know, it was nothing that could be further from the truth. After having won the first game, then we go up and lose the game last week at Morgan. And then from that point on, you know, it's been kind of a, you know, where we headed here now. And I can tell you that this team has worked at it as hard and has done as good a job of being focused and that kind of stuff as any team. And it just hasn't worked out for us. We've had, you know, injuries all over the place and a bad break here. Hadn't played all that great there. Hadn't executed quite as well, though. I need to make sure that I do say that on either side of the ball. And, you know, I think maybe sometimes you get a little bit big-headed, some of the other kind of things that can go on when a team goes from one year to the next. We got a lot of NFL prospect kind of guys, and a lot of that kind of stuff, you know, kind of takes hold. So you get a little bit of all kinds of nuances of what makes a team, you know, good or not so good, you know, as you go through those teams over the years. And this team just didn't quite make it happen. And, you know, we'll go about the task now, figuring it out and going about the task of making sure that we do whatever we can to see if we can be better next year.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it, Doc.
All right, Coach Few, thank you so much for your time and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Karen.
Take care. South Carolina State travels to the nation's capital for a 1 p.m. matchup on Saturday at Howard. The game will be live on ESPN3 and will re-air Saturday night at 11 p.m. on ESPNU. Up next, we have Morgan State head coach Damon Wilson. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm great, Karen. How are you doing?
Doing well. All right, can you tell us a little bit about Saturday's game against Stony Brook?
Yes, we went up to the long trip up to New York. The guys got to see New York City and everything, and started off slow. You know, we started off slow as a ball club, but we were able to battle back and give ourselves a chance to win with under 2 minutes left in the game, and they end up winning the game with a 40-yard field goal at the last few seconds of the game. So we let one get away from us, but I think the guys fought back, you know, after we were down early in the game.
All right, Coach, and what can we expect from the Bears against Delaware State on Saturday?
Physical game. You know, Coach Milstead's going to have those guys ready to rock and roll. I know they're going through, you know, a challenging time right now with losing Coach Bowe, but I know those guys will be prepared to play on Saturday. We must be physical in all three phases of the game. They want to run the football. We must stop the run, eliminate some of the plays the quarterback has been making, and I think we'll have a chance to win.
All right, Coach, those are my questions. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown and Kickoff. I hope you are well. Talk about the pursuit to continue to build up Bears Nation. Your program is getting stronger and stronger. Just talk about, again, putting it together, so to speak.
Well, I mean, as coaches mentioned, I know Coach Odom's mentioned, as far as the process, you know, it's a process that we have to stay true to and have to, you know, you got to deal with those close losses. You know, looking at 3 games, I want to say, came down, whether it's the last play of the game or, you know, the winding moments of the game. And when you have a young ball club, you got to teach them how to win those games. And as a coach said, we must do everything in our power to, you know, continue to educate them and teach them how to maneuver through those situations. Like this past week, they had to go 50 yards to get in the field goal range, and they were able to do that. You know, so we must play, you know, play sound in those situations so we can come out on the other end of it. But it's part of the process, and like I said, I'm excited in the direction we're going. We have some guys that are really fighting. Like I said, we were up at halftime, then we got down in the third quarter, and then we came back and scored 2 quick touchdowns. So, we have a lot of young guys getting experience, which is good. But we have to find a way to win those close games.
Coach, Morgan State and Delaware State University. It's a rivalry. I-95. Just talk a little bit about that and what you're seeing with this rivalry and the opportunity to play and line them up from scrimmage on Saturday.
Well, like I said, we're excited. We recruit some of the same guys here in the area. I've known Coach Milstead for years, and had an opportunity to play those guys last year at Bowie. So I know what type of environment we're going into. I know what type of guys he has on the team, and schematically, those guys are doing a good job as a staff, putting those guys in position to make plays. So like I said, we have our work cut out for us. We'll hit practice field tomorrow morning and get ready to rock and roll as we prepare for Dale State.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week and good luck on the road.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Wilson, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Ty. How about yourself?
I'm good. Coach, a couple of years ago, the MEAC had a 5-way tie for first place in the conference. And you're in a good position right now. Did you think that your team would be in this position this late in the season when you started?
Well, Ty, I know we focus on each week, and we're in position, but we're not in a position where we control the outcome, and that's the position I like to be in. So we're going to take on this Delaware State game as trying to go 1-0, not worry about what other schools have to do, and that sort of thing. But I know when we came in, we had work to do. You're looking at a program that hasn't been very good over the years. So we're trying to kind of build up from the ground up and do it the right way. And it's good to have an opportunity, just to have an opportunity to be mentioned in that conversation. But we understand what's ahead of us.
Way back in September, I asked you about the players buying in, and you told me that was the key to your season so far. How much from a percentage basis have they bought in right now?
Ty, we're probably about 85% there as far as with the buy-in. The other piece to that is now having the right players in the right position to make the plays. And so it's one thing to get the guys in our program to buy in, but now you got to have the right people in the right position to make the plays that are needed to be made. And it's some of that's us learning them. Because once again, we didn't have a whole lot of time to identify who were the playmakers or what they did well, what they didn't do well. So it's been a trial by game type of deal for us since we got started. But I do know we have some good guys here, some good guys in the program, some guys that can make plays. We have to get stronger. We're pretty young. I think we have one senior offensive lineman and one senior defensive lineman. So, we got to get stronger up front. But predominantly, this is a sophomore-based team. So these guys haven't played a lot of football and hadn't had a lot of success. So that's something that we have to navigate through.
And last question, Coach. It's a thing that plagues a lot of teams, and it's kind of hard for some teams to figure out. How do you figure out how to eliminate penalties? Because in the conference, you definitely have had, some concerns about that. So what is the biggest thing to try to get your guys to not commit the penalties that hurt you and that could eventually cost you a game?
It's something that we talk about in the meeting, something that we look at our practice film, making sure we're not practicing bad habits. And it's something we got to hold ourselves accountable to. Some penalties are going to happen. You're going to get a hold here or there, but the unsportsmanlike penalties, those are things that we have to eliminate. And we've done a good job of that the last few weeks. Early off in the season, I think we were probably one of the most penalized teams, and I know we've done a much better job of that recently here. I think this past week we may have 6 penalties. We want to have 4 or less, going into a ball game. That's maybe 1 a quarter. But like I said, the 15-yarders we want to eliminate, and those those penalties, false starts, and that sort of thing. We want to eliminate those because we can't afford to be behind the sticks offensively to think we're gonna have a chance to be successful.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend when you take on Dale State.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Bills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Wilson, how you doing this morning?
Doing good, Doc. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Tough loss this weekend in terms of going down the stretch. You've played in some of these games, got some of them, and didn't get the rest of them. As you come into the new environment with your team, what are you seeing that has been positive in terms of the nature? And what is the mental framework that you see needs to be transitioned to maybe start winning some of these close games to have that championship type of season?
Good question. One of the positives is just the fight. and the guys are continuing to fight, which is good. Like I said, when we got down, the guys fought back and we scored offensively and got a couple stops defensively, made a play special team wise. Some of the things that we need to work on is just being consistent. Making sure we start fast, not starting slow, and understand we have to play consistent ball through 4 quarters to have a chance to win. We can't just hit the switch when we want to play. We got to find a way to make sure we come off the bus playing fast and going all the way to the zeros on the scoreboard. And that's something that we have to get better at, and that's something that we want to continue to preach to our guys throughout the week.
Ask you about the decision on the 2-point conversion. What is the thought process at the time? What are you going through, and why was that decision made at that time?
We were up, I think it was up 1, if I'm not mistaken, and we get the extra point that puts us up 2. We wanted to make sure at least we're in a field goal deal. We wanted them to have to at least kick a field goal to tie it versus put them in a position to win a ball game. We had a guy open on a 2-point conversion and we didn't convert. And that's the decisions that we make. If you look at it at the end of the game, even with that deal, we still would have probably lost the game by 1, if I'm not mistaken, with regards to them kicking the field goal at the end. But if we would have converted, that field goal would have tied it, and then we'd have been in overtime.
Gotcha, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach. Thank you for being here with us today. Good luck this weekend. See you next Monday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Take care. The Bears travel to Dover to take on Delaware State at 2 p.m. on Saturday. The game can be seen live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. At this time, we'd like to conclude today's press conference, but before we do, as always, I'd like to thank the media members who showed up and participated today and those who will watch later. MEAC will also like to thank its corporate partners for their support, and we'll see you all right here next Monday, November 14th at 10 a.m. for our next press conference. For up-to-date information on the MEAC and our sponsor sports, log on to meacsports.com and follow us on our various social media platforms. Once again, thank you for being here and have a great football week.